Oh, hey there. Didn't see you over there.
Oh, well, hello.
There's people here listening to us. I don't know if they're watching. They won't be watching us yet.
No, not yet.
Eventually, you'll be watching us.
Soonish.
And that will be the day that all of your wildest desires come true.
So here's a question. Who are us?
Who are us?
Who are us?
That's a great question, and that's a very loaded question, actually.
Depending on who you're asking.
It really depends on the personality we choose to show up with that day.
Which personality are we going to be today, you think?
Well, I think at this present moment, I'm feeling we're good. I think we're at baseline Karen. Today I'm Karen.
So spicy.
Spicy is a very good point. We're spicy because we have been sitting in this cold basement for about 2 hours now.
2 hours.
Trying to figure out how to simply just make you hear our voices. The simplest task of just hearing us speak has taken us 2 hours, but we got through it.
We did get through it. And are we still friends?
We're still friends.
Okay, great.
All right, so who are Kylie today?
I'm Kylie. That's me. That's
And
my
who is your
personality.
baseline personality today?
I think also a little spicy.
You're a little spicy, but why?
Well, because it took 2 hours to figure this out.
Yeah, we were hoping to have at least 15 episodes
we
by now.
should have figured it out a little sooner, but we got there, and that's okay.
Right, we did get there. In the end, that's really all. Nothing really matters. Or wait, it's some song like that. We'll probably get sued for having that clip on there. I'll probably have to get a hold of whatever band that is.
Canceled for copyright infringement, episode
within
1.
the first 2 minutes of recording this episode, we're taking polls. If anybody out there wants to bet on how long you think it will be until we actually get canceled.
Ooh,
That's been a
yeah.
big conversation between our friends that know that we're doing this. So some people think that we can't even be produced. So
Well,
they're wrong.
they are very wrong.
So this podcast is Opes Dreams podcast.
Opes and Dreams.
You did see that when you clicked on the button, so you should know that already. But why not explain what that means?
So, what that means, actually, I have it written down what an ope is.
Okay, great.
So, dictionaries are useful for finding out what
And
words mean.
those are not all banned yet. So
Not a banned book. Dictionaries.
Go pick one of those up if you guys.
Oh, lordy. This is not a political podcast. It will have some sprinkles of politics because we are functional humans in this society. So, yeah, it's going to come up, but it's not a focal point.
It is not a focal point, so.
So, a variant form of open as a verb and an adjective, ope can mean to express surprise or to alert someone or to express apology.
Can you show me some examples of how you would use ope as an expression or a apology?
Oh, I goofed that one.
Ope, I'm just gonna sneak right by you there.
Oh, I forgot to grab the ranch.
Oh, let me just get past you there. Oh, we already used that one, but you get the general idea.
An old version would have been like, now ope thine eyes. But we are not Shakespearean gals.
Yet.
Oh, is that how we get canceled?
Right. It could be a number of ways. Another poll, if anybody wants to not only guess when we get canceled, how
But how?
we get canceled.
Bonus
would be a good
points. That's sort of our version of over under.
Yes, it sure is.
Yep.
So then the other half of our podcast is dreams. So how would you describe the dreams portion of Opes and Dreams?
Dreams can be goals. They can be inspirations, motivators, cautionary tales,
Accomplishments, which we really want to focus on because we are accomplished women.
We are a couple of accomplished women.
We do a lot.
We're entrepreneurs.
We sure are.
We are self-employed. We are also employees. So we have various perspectives of adult women being...
It's still going.
Huzzah!
We're 5 minutes in.
5 whole
already.
minutes.
How do people do this for an entire hour?
Outlines.
Oh, yeah. We got to have, like, structure. So that would be a good one. So we have thought maybe about doing a theme every episode related to the Opes Dreams, like sharing maybe an ope that happened to us that day, or just an ope in life, and then at the same time sharing our dream or our goal or our achievements, or all of that. But who knows if that's going to happen today, because we're just so... Our dream is that we figured out how to record this. Our ope is that it took us 2 hours to do it.
Yeah, that's our first ope and dream.
Oh, but not only that, something very special happened today. About 22 minutes ago, Kylie mentioned that she is a business owner and entrepreneur, and she is one of the people that organizes Driftless Music Gardens in the Driftless region of Wisconsin.
Yuba!
And today, a really exciting event was released just momentarily. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you for that lovely segue.
You're welcome.
It rode very smoothly. Appreciate it.
I did it.
So DMG, as it's acronymed, is bringing in a tour that is separate from the 3 music festivals we host every year. This is the Rowdy Summer Nights Tour, and we have the Kitchen Dwellers opening for our good friends Leftover Salmon and the infamous String Dusters. It is Saturday, July 19th this summer in Yuba, Wisconsin, and we're so excited! It's going to be a bluegrass bash.
A bluegrass bash.
All of the banjos.
Oh, so many banjos.
So many banjos.
Which is never a bad thing.
Never.
Unless you're like alone in the woods and you start hearing any banjos.
Or unless you hate banjo.
Right, which I don't know if, that's smart for you.
I don't think we're friends with
Living
any people that hate banjos.
Near the Driftless region of Wisconsin, you should probably embrace that.
Yeah, because you're going to hear it. It gets loud out there.
Yeah.
On our brand new stage that we built last year.
Which is all very exciting. So, a couple of questions I've already seen people asking online about this event. Is there camping involved?
There is camping. So, although this is just a one-night show, we are still Driftless Music Gardens, and we still want you to come hang out and come party. So, you can come Saturday and camp overnight. You can also come Friday and camp overnight and make a whole weekend out of it. But there's not music all weekend, all days like the festivals. So it is different. It's going to be smaller. We'll have vendors and food.
Food, good.
Yeah.
That was my next question.
Food vendors.
Because food is very important, especially if you're going to spend a day or a days anywhere, especially in the middle of Wisconsin, which is... It really is in the middle of nowhere.
It really is. And it's called Driftless. I don't know if you guys know, but Driftless means the glaciers did not flatten the earth.
I read that.
They slid
I read
down.
that in an article yesterday that came out about Driftless
you can
Music
read?
Gardens. It's dictionaries. But an article came out about Driftless Music Gardens yesterday, which was incredible.
Yeah, did you watch the
great
video?
I was really impressed by that.
So we had our good friends at Wisconsin Public Radio come out to one of our festivals last summer, interviewed a bunch of our staff and volunteers, which, side note, we can't do anything without our staff and volunteers. Everybody that has put in an hour of volunteer help at DMG, we are so grateful.
And just to cut in there, I've been a volunteer at Driftless Music Gardens for so many years now, and it really is like such a fun opportunity. So speaking of somebody that's done it for a long time, I highly, highly, highly recommend putting in the time if you have it to be able to do that. It's really, really fun, and it's a great way to be a part of such a wonderful events. There's several events that are put on every summer, so it's just a really great community, and it's really great to do that. Anyway, go on.
So thank you. Volunteer. Please volunteer. Go sign up. We need you.
Please volunteer for us.
So, WPR came out and they got a bunch of footage, and then they interviewed Tim and Cricket, who live on the land. It's Cricket's family land in Yuba. She's the 6th generation to occupy it, and they've turned it from farming wheat and corn and cows to farming music. There's a great video. It will air on TV later this fall, but you can check it out on the socials. It's all over the socials to watch the video. It's super cute.
Is it going to be longer than the video that was in there? It's like a full documentary.
Yeah, it's like a full segment.
Maybe we'll see us on it somewhere.
Maybe.
Actually, I'm surprised at us because knowing that there would be cameras there, I'm surprised we weren't trying to like jump in the background as often as possible.
It's hard to see other cameras when our phones are in front of our faces. That's taking selfies constantly.
But also, because we're so busy. We're just so busy working, so that we wouldn't have even known that they were there, right? That's actually the reason.
I had no idea they were there.
It's not at all. I didn't see them once.
I was so busy delegating.
She does a very good job of delegating.
Just couldn't.
There's nothing she can't do. Really, that's the whole sentence.
Behind every woman who can do everything is a best friend that helps her.
And doesn't ever want to, but will.
Right.
I don't want to, but I will. That is my number one motto, which Kylie has heard from me many, 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 many times, especially out at Driftless.
Maybe it'll be part of the merch that we make. Stickers.
I don't want to, but I will. Yeah, merch. Let's talk merch. We love merch. We often sell merch for bands and for just various things, and that's a big part of our personalities.
It's a great way to see a show.
Merch maids, if you will. But we like the idea of having merch. Speaking of that, we will eventually have a great logo and all kinds of merch. We're working on all of that.
It'll come.
It'll be there.
Hopefully
by the time you hear this, you'll see it.
Yeah, we like organic growth.
We're just
not going to push it. We're not going to shove it down your throat.
Going with the flow.
Unless you come up to us like a baby bird.
Give me the merch.
We'll feed your baby bird mouths.
If you had a video going of this right now, that would have been really funny to see. Again, I'm really confused why the cat's not making noises. You couldn't keep it shut earlier. What else should we talk about?
I'm not sure.
Rarely are we out of things to talk about.
It's because my brain is in a lot of different places.
Yeah, we are, maybe 2 hours ago we would have been able to figure this out, but it's kind of hard when you're put on the spot like this. But I guess, we don't know any better yet because we don't have an outline to keep us on task, which we will have. So this will get better as time goes on. Obviously, this is episode 1, and we are just figuring this out just from the ground up. We are really not following any rules or structure, as you figured out already.
What structure? Is there a dictionary for that one?
There is. That's what a dictionary is it tells you what things are and what words mean.
So, speaking of Opes, I went through and I was trying to think about my Opes from life. And
I don't know if we have enough time in this episode for that.
I know.
We've only got about 45 minutes to kill here.
Well, I just wanted to point out that as I'm trying to think of Opes to share, my 20s came up a lot.
Oh.
And sometimes those are NSFW, which we don't need to share. So I went to the source of my childhood, which are my other 2 best friends.
Never heard of them.
Kat and Christina.
Just kidding. They're my besties-in-law.
Yes, besties-in-law. We love you.
We do love you. We will have you here.
Oh, yeah.
There will be... So, spoiler alert. One thing we do have planned for this podcast is a big... I don't know if we're allowed to say this without getting sued for licenses or any of that stuff, but we love the Gilmore Girls.
Oh, yeah.
We love it. We are diehards. So are her 2 best friends. So is my best friend. And one day, one of our dreams is to get everybody here in the same room and just talk about it for an entire hour.
Yeah.
So if you like Gilmore Girls, that will be a really great episode. If you don't,
maybe skip it.
Yeah, don't turn us on that day. Probably missed that one, but go on.
Kat and Christina and I have tattoos. We each have an umbrella that says in omnia paratus.
Which means, let's find the dictionary.
Dictionary! It means always ready for anything in Latin, which is pretty true to how we've all lived our lives. Just, yeah, let's do that.
Right, with not much thought behind it.
Right.
Just kind of go with it. But look, it's gotten us here.
It's gotten us 15 minutes in.
It can't all be bad.
Right. So most of my Opes I needed help recalling from Kat and Christina were vehicular related.
Oh.
Apparently I used to be a very poor driver.
Used to be. I would like to chime in on this one. I would hate to find out what it was like then if it was used to be.
I don't know if you would ever get in a car with me if you knew.
I don't.
If you experienced.
I don't know that I would because I already have a hard time. I'm a passenger survivor when I get into Kylie's car. She likes to go fast because she has sport mode.
It's a fast car.
Maybe it's not sport mode on this one anywhere. The old one had sport mode. This one has sport mode.
This has sport mode and sport mode S.
And if we're out on a country road,
on our way to Driftless Music Gardens,
there's no point in her even having to pay attention to the road in front of us or the speed limit signs. She just kind of does whatever. Is whatever she feels like.
I let the car drive itself.
It truly does. And so don't ride in a car with her unless you have to. Okay, go on.
I'm a better driver now that I'm a parent. That's for sure.
I don't think that's true at all.
Well, that's because you don't have the comparison of my driving before I was a parent.
Right. But I think you're like a really good parent.
Right.
Like a really good one.
Just not a really good driver.
You don't only parent like your child, but you also are really good at parenting all of the people around you when we need it. Like in a good way.
Oh,
in a really good way.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that, we need that. Everybody does at some point. And I feel like you're very good at it. You're one of those people that's very good at looking at things from a logical standpoint, which I appreciate because I like logic. I need to know why things are the way they are. Mm-hmm. And when I'm super emotional or stimulated, really, I can't understand that. And so it's good to have like a grounding presence to be like, hey, this is why that is.
And I will counter with how I appreciate your, we'll call them more reactionary or emotional responses, but in the context of forcing you to ask more questions about a certain situation. You see it in a way that's like, wait, that's not right. I noticed that, and I appreciate that perspective that you offer.
That's my tism. I'm learning a lot more about my neurodivergent brain in the last year than I ever have.
But we complement each other in
really
that way. I'm very objective. I'm very logical. You are always asking questions because life is bullshit.
Which is a really big part of it, is that I have to ask these questions because I have to understand why things are happening.
Right.
I can't just be told this is the way it is. That doesn't work for me.
Right.
But it's why?
Yeah.
But that gets me in so much trouble all the time because people think when I ask follow-up questions, I'm arguing or attacking when it's really me trying to understand in a very passionate way.
Right.
Because I don't know how to just be here asking the questions. It's but what does that mean? But why is it like that? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why is it like this?
I need all of the context.
I need to know everything.
Yeah.
Because I can't understand it unless I know why. Because I need to be able to figure out how I feel about that. And what truly matters is how I feel about something.
It is.
So that's that. But a lot of, as I had mentioned, I'm learning a lot about those things in myself. Because one very big thing that bonds and binds Kylie and I also is that we don't drink alcohol.
Nope.
We are 5 and 8 years now.
7.5.
7.5 for Kylie. Almost 5 for me. 5 next month of removing alcohol from my life.
Oh, it's so much nicer.
Which is playing into a lot of our Opes.
Yeah. I'd say most of my Opes were PBR and vodka related.
I don't remember my Opes. I mean, I remember my Opes, and I just I work very hard to forgive myself for those Opes.
We ope with grace now.
We try our best to ope with grace. But it's hard, and it comes up in different ways every day, differently, and I think it's very much a part of just trying to, like, understand ourselves and why we do the things we do, and yeah, it's tough. It's hard.
Yeah, but it provides the clarity that we need to handle the Opes. We were not close friends when one of us was still drinking, because I'm pretty sure we met after I had quit.
It was, I think it was
right around.
There was just a little bit of overlap.
The tiniest bit of overlap.
But yeah, who knows how that would have turned out. Yeah, we just weren't, like, I was friends with all of your friends, and like we knew of each other, but we never like got very close until like later on, when I don't know if I was still drinking. I can't remember really, honestly, if we found each other like after we were both like more, and maybe we gravitated towards each other because of that.
I think that's what it was, because there wasn't a lot of us that were sober and still in the Madison music scene, which, you know, we live in Wisconsin. The drinking culture here is world renowned.
And I do just want to state quickly that just as we are not a political podcast, we do not intend to make this all about us being sober or not drinking. It's just a part of it. It's just a part of who we are, and it will come up from time to time, but it is not like the basis of this. Although we will probably often have guests come on that are sober, and that's part of their dreams that they'll want to share, and because it's such a huge thing, it's an amazing accomplishment, and I'm so happy to see every day more and more people around us making that choice. It really makes life really awesome when you can sit and connect on a real level with people, and the more the better. Come join us.
Come join our cult.
Come join us. We will talk a lot about cults because we
love them.
We're in a couple. More than one that we're part of.
Oh, God. So true.
Yeah, we will talk about them and our love of them, and maybe talk about them. Maybe we'll have a whole episode dedicated to cults and just how fascinating they are. What is, what isn't. Is it?
Is it?
Are we?
Is it a cult?
Is this a cult? Guess we'll see. Anyway, what else?
Yeah.
What else is there?
What
are you doing the rest of the day?
I have to go do a haircut. Oh, it's my other gig. So my real job, the one that I've had for 11 years, I own my own business. It's called Kylie Shea Styles. I'm a hairstylist. I do haircuts, color, dreadlocks, facial waxing, and a lovely time. She
does my hair and is so good. I get compliments on my hair every time I go there. Well, even tonight, my hair is the best. You can't see it. You can't see it really yet, but eventually you will, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I better book an appointment with her.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Hair's a lot of fun. It's my first passion. I went to cosmetology school before I turned 21, so had that life morphing year during one of the most tumultuous years of my life. It was actually quite fascinating. Cosmetology school is a wild ride. But I made it out, and I love it. I share space with 2 other hairstylists who have been doing hair far longer than me, and it's wonderful. It's downtown Madison, 316 East Wilson.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
What else are you doing today besides doing hair?
After hair, I'm going to go pick up my kid. He will make an appearance on this podcast for
Whether
sure.
we like it or not.
You know what? He's going to be so mad when I pick him up and tell him we recorded an episode without him. He really wanted to be in the first.
We didn't really anticipate recording a whole episode today.
Right.
I was like, there's no way we're going to record today.
Yeah.
We don't have anything like written down for the mole. Kylie does, of course.
I have my
She's
notebook.
way more organized than I am about that stuff. But from here on out, we will have more of a format to follow and a timeline, and so there won't be so many of these. Oh, what should we talk about?
Tra-la-la-la-la.
Things, but that's just like our brain as it is anyway.
Yeah. There's
So-
an outline, but we'll trail off.
Picking up the kid. And
So I'm
then-
picking up. His name is Devere. Yes, it's fancy.
It is a fancy
It's
name.
so fancy. It's my husband's middle name, and it was his paternal grandfather. He's currently enrolled at a Montessori school that's just on the other side of the neighborhood, so it takes like 2 minutes to drive there. You know what I forgot to tell you?
What?
I didn't text this to you yesterday because it would make a little bit of good podcasting without getting into unnecessary
Is it
details.
gossip?
Sort of. So my kid
Oh.
got punched in the face
That is-
yesterday.
Oh, we're not laughing at him. We're laughing for...
Laughing at the situation. So
Yeah, that's really sad.
we both use humor as a coping mechanism, and people often take it as us being
assholes.
we are assholes, but we use humor because
But,
it's an easy buffer to get through anything. So my kid, he got punched in the face lightly. There's a little bruise on his cheek. And that happened yesterday. I sent an email, and it sucks. I don't like sending emails. I've sent so many emails to this school. We have 4 months left, and then he'll be moving on to other pastures. We don't need to talk about details because I don't want to put anybody down.
Is this his first black eye?
God. Yeah, I think like intentionally he's had bruises before through
Right.
rough play, but kid came up behind him and just socked him in the face.
We don't like that.
We don't like that.
That's not a good thing to do. Don't teach your kids not to do that. Don't
Please.
just punch kids in the face, or anybody for that matter. Don't punch people. Violence is not a good move.
Violence is not the answer. Violence is not play.
It is not play.
No, it's not how we roll. So it's tough because when you're dealing with kids that are 5 to 7 years old, they're figuring out right versus wrong. So in my email, I said it's difficult to navigate stuff like this because I'm battling between my need to protect and giving those grace who are still learning.
See, my first instinct is don't do that. But that's where we differ with things. Like, she can stop and think about a situation and be like, maybe I shouldn't immediately set them on fire. Where my first instinct is immediately like, find out where that kid lives, show up on his doorstep, tell him he looks like Tom Petty, and run away.
You can't do that.
Shout out to one of my favorite movies for that line. But
No.
yeah, that's a hard situation to handle. I can imagine. I'm not a mom. I have a dog, but I don't have any children. So don't even let me for a second think that I have any idea what I'm talking about when it comes to children or how they should be handled.
And neither do I.
But you have one, so at least you get a little bit more say. Like, it's
Yeah.
okay for you to be like, and it's
Right.
not okay for me to do that.
But I would like to also point out that with that, I only have one kid, and I've never done this before. So I asked my sister, who has 3 kids, and she said that I was nicer than she would have been in the email. But I also asked in the email, I asked for guidance, because I'm like, you only work with this age group year after year after year. You know how these kids work better than I do. Like,
Right.
what can we do as parents to help this, to help stop it, to help mitigate it? There's like 10 freaking kids in the classroom. Should not be happening.
Right, if there's only that many kids, I feel like, right, it's like, there's so many things we could say about that.
Yeah.
That, I don't know if we should necessarily touch on, not being experts, but I'm not a teacher also. I am a teacher, that's not true. I'm a teacher, but I teach Pilates, so I teach...
Not children.
Not children, I teach adults.
She's a different kind of superhero.
Different kind of teacher. So...
Because teachers are superheroes.
They really, truly are.
R.I.P. Department of Education!
Woo! So that's going to be a thing. The cat woke up. So we got...
She doesn't like the air horn sound, I think.
No, she doesn't.
Meow.
So there's that. Yeah, I don't know how to handle that. That's a really hard situation, and hopefully the teachers will respond and be able to implement something to help that out. I know that there's a saying, like, kids will be kids, boys will be boys, but, like, when... Like, why? Like, when did that become a thing? And, like, why do we constantly, like, allow that kind of behavior to just be something that's like, oh, okay, no big deal. And how do you stop that? Like, do the kids need, like, yoga?
They do mindful meditation, actually, a lot
That's
in
good.
class. Devere knows how to lead a meditation session. But something...
Ooh, we should have him in here leading us on that someday. That would be a really great... episode.
Yeah, a nice little dev segment. But what I've noticed is, like, when kids are small, there's certain expectations and assumptions that just exist in our society, which feed the growth of each individual. But what I noticed also that when kids are younger and they're fighting, let's say, it's small things like stealing toys, pushing kids into the dirt, saying mean things that they probably don't even know what they mean. As they get bigger, those things also get bigger.
Mm-hmm.
The name-calling gets meaner and angrier, and the violence gets bigger, where instead of in the face. That's what concerns me, is the stereotypes, and those things can exist as they exist, but it's how you reframe it to move forward. I think that matters, because the stereotypes are going to be there no matter what,
Right.
for our entire lifetime
Right.
at least.
And it's not getting any better.
No, it's not. It's just getting worse.
Not getting any better. Everything is bad.
Oh, yeah. So,
But at least you have our podcast to listen to.
Yeah.
When you're not feeling like you're having such a great day, you can chime in and we'll make you be like, hey, at least it's not that bad.
we're here to offer you some perspective.
So I think that's probably a pretty good, first episode. I don't know that we really need to try to push an hour at you.
No.
As we're getting started, maybe when we have our ish together a little bit more. Are we allowed to swear on our podcast?
I think, fuck yeah, we're allowed to swear on our
I wasn't
podcast.
sure about that because, I don't expect children to be listening to us except
I don't
for when they're
censor
on
myself.
the podcast. So I think that is not allowed.
Are we also allowed to belch on the podcast?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I think in a past life I was maybe like an etiquette teacher or coach or something like that, because
She does look like she should have a ruler in her hand.
at all times. Because there are just some things that are just like why? I burp too, and my boyfriend, my amazing, amazing boyfriend, Dan, he puts up with a lot of my burping. But when she does it, it's just like a tsunami is coming in to like take over the whole room.
Right. It fills you up as
so
I
gross.
empty myself.
And on that note,
On gases.
yeah, well, if you tuned in, thanks for tuning in to help us just really crawl through this dumpster fire of our first episode, which it is truly, I'm sure, going to be.
It's the fanciest dumpster fire you'll ever attend.
It's one of them.
Bring your nicest flannel and Carhartts.
Oh. that was an involuntary. Oh, that one wasn't on purpose. That's just kind of what happens. We love our Opes.
We love our Opes.
So this is Karin and Kylie signing off.
With the cat.
The cat we couldn't get to meow. One little one for
Can
us.
you give us a meow?
Just a little mew. There she is. Well, thank you. And
Thank you.
hopefully we still... there she is. Hopefully you tune in for episode number 2, Coming at you soon.
Pretty sure we got him hooked.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
We love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.